Today is Alola Ash Ketchum Day, the day Ash won the Alola League. So to celebrate this monumental win, in this video, myself and the Pokeraph will be going over the worst Ash Ketchum losses from the Pokemon anime. Ironic, I know.
After Ash finally became a world champion, you'd think Aim to be a Pokemon Master would let him battle old rivals that he was yet to defeat, right? But instead, he ended up battling Misty again, and this time, it was horrible. Now let's get one thing straight here. We loved Misty, but this battle was humiliating, and in one way, it just wasn't needed. Can someone please explain why Ash wanted to catch a Clauncher in the first place? Like, it's such a random Pokemon to catch, and he should be focusing on this thing instead. We've already had Ash battle Misty before to claim Pokemon like Togepi and Totodile, so this whole concept was just recycled once again, and quite frankly, it was a waste of an episode. Yeah, nostalgia is good and all, however Misty literally witnessed Ash become world champion, so the fact she just straight up beat him after this huge victory like that was so detrimental to his new title. Why couldn't we just see Misty bond with the Clauncher instead and then catch it? We seriously thought Corfish was gonna win, but it looks like our boy still can't catch a break after all this time. Actually, hold on, why didn't Ash use Rowlet or Levani? Or better yet, just use Pikachu? Ugh, can you see how annoying this battle is? It's ridiculous.
So do any of y'all remember Tyson? I mean, I would hope so, since the anime spent a lot of time hyping up his Puss in Boots. As we all know by now, Tyson is the typical last-minute league rival whose sole purpose is to stop Ash from winning the league. Now, it's not that we think that Tyson is undeserving of this win against Ash, but it's just the way that Ash lost that makes it really bad. For starters, they basically crammed their full battle into one episode, resulting in a lot of rushed wins. And then to finish things off, we get the final match between Pikachu and Meowth, and Pikachu loses to a Meowth. Now sure, we get it, Tyson's Meowth is completely different from Team Rocket's Meowth, and was shown to have a lot of experience. But honestly, that all just felt really forced. They gave it the edgy look, the sad backstory, and the brutal personality, all to justify its strength. Meanwhile, Pikachu is strong just being its normal, cute self. This should have been a calm W for Pikachu, but instead we got Ash losing the Cohen League because of a Meowth of all Pokemon. And to rub salt into the wound, we also have Team Rocket's Meowth rooting for Tyson, with his annoying interjections every damn minute. This low-key felt like a win for Team Rocket at that point, and I am not with that.
Sawyer was one of Ash's rivals in the XY series that looked up to him highly. After losing to Ash on a few occasions, the Cohen trainer wanted to learn more and develop his battling skills in order to become stronger and catch up to Ash, and this eventually ended up happening. During their third battle, Sawyer was very strategic and even predicted how Ash could command his Pokemon. Compared to their previous battles, Sawyer was unsure about how to use certain moves with strategy, leading to Ash obtaining the wins almost with ease. But this time, he walked all over Ash. His strategy was to tire out Ash's Pokemon, use super effective moves in combination with a Pokemon's ability, and optimize short and long range attacks, showing how much he had developed as a trainer. Ash said he didn't want to be careless in this battle, but unfortunately he was. It was almost like the roles reversed in this battle, as Sawyer was the one who had grown and learned how to overcome any situation, whereas for Ash, he was just relying on his Pokemon's strength without thinking of a proper strategy. No wonder the Bond phenomenon didn't activate effectively.
Okay.
After his battle with Diantha, he thought he could just rely on the Ash Greninja form to handle things. Ash was so shocked, he didn't even recognise Sawyer, especially after how Sceptile defeated Greninja. This was such a terrible loss for Ash, also ending his win streak, proving exactly how much Sawyer had developed.
Alright, now picture this. It's the first time Ash has ever made it to the finals. He's mastered Satoshi Gekkoga, has one of the best teams he's ever used, and is now facing Alon, the badass rival he has yet to defeat in battle. Sounds like the perfect opportunity for Ash to finally get that league win, right? Wrong. Looking back, Ash losing to Alon actually makes some sense considering the crazy feats Alon's Charizard has achieved, as opposed to Ash Greninja, who's like, what, defeated Wolfric's Mega Abomasnow and Sawyer's Mega Sceptile? But what makes this loss so bad is the fact that it kinda contradicts everything the XY anime was building towards. This is one of Ash's best series, and everything seemed to be finally leading up to him getting that win this time. Yet they still made Ash lose, cause we're back in the era where he couldn't truly progress as a character. It's even more annoying when you actually pay attention to the hits taken during the battle. Greninja was giving Charizard an absolute thrashing, but it still survives in the end. Meanwhile, Greninja only gets hit like 2 times before going down to Blast Burn. I get that Charizard is strong, but come on man, at least make it a little bit more believable. Now that's not to discredit the battle itself because it's still phenomenal in its own right, but the loss specifically really stung with this one, and set the Anime community ablaze. This loss was so bad that people even harassed the anime staff. Side note, don't ever do that, it's just a kid's show, it ain't that deep. This loss is now 7 years old at this point, old enough to go to 2nd grade, and people are still really salty about it. So that should easily tell you why this is one of the worst.
There's no doubt that when Ash and Paul battle each other, it gets serious, and the battle at Lake Acuity was no different. Or maybe yet, it was. This battle nearly broke Ash as a trainer. After feeling so pumped and confident that he would be able to defeat his rival in the first 6-on-6 battle, this loss left him in tears. From the get-go, Paul was reading Ash like a book, playing big mental games. Compared to being ruthless like before, Paul actually created a new strategy that would counter Ash's, using Pokemon that had coverage and also the advantage. And this favoured him greatly, allowing him to predict the moves Ash would use, which led to Ash feeling overwhelmed, leading to a lot of mistakes and clumsiness. Ash wasn't thinking properly in this battle one bit. He ended up just going all out on attack, completely forgetting to come up with a strategy to counter Paul's Pokemon. The lack of care and overconfidence caused him to not see the importance and severity of this battle, leading to poor judgment and a lack of respect for himself and his Pokemon. Paul was 2 steps ahead, making the setups and switching play in his favour. This battle had both trainers' pride on the line, but unfortunately for Ash, he ended up being the weakest link. Paul was ahead of his time, and in the end, Ash was left in tears.
Now if you thought Ash vs Paul was bad for old Ashy boy, then check out his first battle with B. Unlike the previous entry, Ash couldn't get a single win in this fight. Now granted, this was only a 2-on-2, but still, Ash has never faced such a humiliating loss since, well, you know who. What's frustrating too is that this is a battle Ash could have easily won if he had used Dragonite or Gengar or even Pikachu. Dragonite has the type advantage and has already proven his strength by sweeping Karina. Meanwhile, Gengar is literally immune to fighting types. So why on Arceus' green earth did Ash decide to pull up with his newly caught Galarian Farfetch'd and baby Riolu? Yeah, Ash kinda deserved to lose that one, cause bro was intentionally handicapping himself at this point. I get that he was going for that fighting on fighting type of battle, but those Pokemon could not hold a candle at that point to B's more experienced and serious team. This loss also kicked off Ash's first real losing streak for a while, with him being so affected that he dropped back down to the normal class of the World Coronation series, and even got depressed for a little bit. But again, this was something that could have easily been avoided if he had just literally used any other Pokemon but baby Riolu. This series is so mid, bro.
Oh boy, right. Oh god, I can't believe it. Let's just cut to the chase, shall we? This battle was horrible. You all know how much I hate action replay boy, and the fact we didn't get to see Ash battle him again to gain revenge just makes things worse. But let's go back in time and suffer together, shall we? Ash took on Tobias in the semi-finals of the Sinnoh League, and it was just so bad, like bro, my god, I can't deal with this, I'm sorry. First of all, the writers implemented a character that had 2 legendary Pokemon. Automatically, you know this is going to go bad for Ash, especially when man is rocking up with this team like, brother please, what are you doing? Why is Torkoal there and not Infernape? Why is Gible, a Pokemon that has 0 to no experience in battle, being used in a tournament like this? We literally have the Psycho Everyday opening show Weasel battle Darkrai in the cinematic. You know what makes this annoying? Is the fact that Ash done research on Tobias and still failed to form a team that could have been able to maybe even hold their ground against 3 or 4 of his Pokemon. Now let's talk about the battle. Disastrous. Darkrai dealt with 3 of Ash's Pokemon before Sceptile saved the day, and then when Latios came in, well, that was it really. Like, fair play to Pikachu for managing to even defeat the Pokemon, but this battle should have never existed. We were so close to seeing Ash win the Sinnoh League, especially after all of his development in the series, and finally winning against Paul. It was so humiliating for our boy to lose like this. Screw you Tobias, little prick.
Alright, let's talk about Ash versus Cameron. Dog, I hate this battle so much. Now don't get me wrong, it has its moments. Just kidding, it's just the one moment, Pikachu versus Lucario, which actually leads to the terrible loss in question. On top of being another league loss for Ash, this one really stung because of how Ash lost. Now Alon, sure, that hurt really bad, but he was strong, so it makes sense. Tobias, really forced loss, but it also makes sense. The dude was stacked with legendaries. Cameron? Who let this fool in here? Not only did this man think that the Unravel League took place in Johto for some reason, not only was he almost late for the registration, but he also brought 5 Pokemon to a 6-on-6 fight. This loss is one of Ash's worst because he had every right to win, yet they still made him lose. After taking out Cameron's secret weapon, Hydreigon, he was basically a walk in the park. But then for some reason, Cameron is the one who gets plot armor at the end of the fight, as if he was the main character or something, and then proceeds to sweep the ever-living heck out of the remaining half of Ash's team. A truly terrible L for Ash Ketchum, and an even greater L from the anime staff for thinking this was okay. Side note, this does not count as harassment. This is merely my opinion.
Kanto was where the start was, and oh boy, Ash went through quite the adventure. The Indigo League had some interesting battles to say the least, however it unfortunately stapled the first humiliating league loss for our 10-year-old hero. It was very, very bad. Brock and Misty tried to educate Ash on Richie's Pokemon, and even still, he used them incorrectly. It's not like Ash didn't have other Pokemon to use that could have been at an advantage against Richie, but nope. Things just started to tumble down. Squirtle lost after being put to sleep, Pikachu lost to Charmander, with Ash thinking it wasn't exhausted after the situation with Team Rocket when it clearly was, and then well, Charizard came onto the field and that was it really, bedtime I guess. Failing to listen to Ash, this caused him to lose the battle. What makes this battle and episode so bad is the fact that Ash knew what he was up against, and even still, he didn't think properly. Instead, he was just being egotistical, misconstruing the whole concept of this battle. This battle was incredibly embarrassing for Ash, but I guess we all have to learn the hard way eventually.
And now we've reached the absolute worst Ash Ketchum loss from the Pokemon anime. That being the very first loss against Trip. This loss is infamous because Ash's Pikachu loses to Trip's level 5 Snivy. Okay, actually let me correct that, cause technically the anime doesn't follow the whole level system, but that still doesn't change the fact that Trip is literally just starting his Pokemon journey. He was a newbie trainer, yet somehow he was able to defeat Ash's Pikachu, who literally took out a Latios 3 episodes ago. Now sure, Zekrom temporarily took away Pikachu's electric powers, but even still, a simple Iron Tail should have been more than enough to take care of Trip, kind of like how when Ash battled Hop. Now that was more realistic. You can also argue that Ash took a break from Pokemon training between Diamond and Pearl and Black and White. That's a neat headcanon, but let's be honest, that's just a lame justification we give ourselves for the inexcusable erasure of Ash's strength. Aside from being an absolute joke, this loss is also the worst because of the impact it had. This loss not only set the tone for Black and White by resetting Ash's skill, but it also left a terrible stain in the history of Ash Ketchum. No matter how good Ash and Pikachu would get after this, there will always be those people who downplay it because Pikachu lost to a level 5 Snivy. Thanks, Black and White. Thank you all for watching this video, and shout out to the channel members for their extra support. Be sure to check out the best Ash Ketchum wins over on Raf's channel. Last but not least, make sure to live your life to the fullest, and have yourself a damn good one.